Irish, and I wanted to go over some of my top games of 2016 and kind of Irish, and I wanted to wrap up the year with a little discussion about some of my favorite, most played games during 2016. The way I kind of ranked this was basically, the amount that I've played it, as well as how much I've enjoyed playing it. Now there's going to be a little bit of bias towards games I've played more recently, um, just because those are games I'm still playing now. But yeah, essentially this is what I've been playing in 2016, and this will get to show you guys a more how should I say broad spectrum of games that I usually play. I tend to show a lot of strategy games, but I think that I played lots of different games, so I think that I have a lot of games that people might actually enjoy, and may have not have heard of or may not have tried. So here we go. All right, so the first one is DT's Irish, and I wanted to wrap up the year by kind of showing some of the games that I've been playing throughout it. Obviously, I'm a big strategy person, but in terms of strategy games, there isn't too much that's really enthralled me this year. So I've been playing other things as well. I'm the kind of gamer that will, if I don't completely and utterly love a strategy game, I'll play it for a while, but eventually I'll be like, okay, I'll see the flaws and I'll go play something else. So that even though there have been some good titles this year, there's nothing that I've like completely obsessed over in terms of playing it. So I'd like to, give a little bit broader, you know, spectrum in terms of the types of games I'm going to talk about and kind of give people, an idea of what I personally think is pretty good. And, if you tend to like the same games as me, as I do, you may actually enjoy these as well. So let's go ahead and get started, shall we? First, I'll start with the honorable mention, Plague Incorporated. I played this earlier this year, and it was actually quite fun. It's better than the version on the phone. It's got a lot of options. It's quite challenging. I think it also has multiplayer. Unfortunately, I haven't been able to play the multiplayer because my friend hasn't really installed the title. Um, but it looks interesting. I'd like to compete with people. It could be a fun time, and I think that overall it's just a pretty darn fun game. You can't play this for hundreds of hours, I don't think, but for a certain amount of time, it's definitely pretty fun. The scaling on the difficulty is a bit much. I think on the higher difficulties, it goes from being kind of easy to super hard. But apart from that, it's honestly a pretty good game, and it's a good time. All right, next is Cities Skylines. Now this title, I used to play the old SimCities. Now, was I like a massive fan? Not necessarily, but I remember playing a lot of SimCity 2000 back in the day. And this title was just a pretty fun game. I think that one of the parts that was cool about it was seeing your city grow and unlocking more things as you go along. It was a little bit, I think, tough to deal with the traffic. It was a bit stressful sometimes playing this game, and trying to deal with some of the issues that would crop up as your city would grow. But for the most part, it's a pretty fun game, and I enjoy it for short bursts of gaming. The Walking Dead Michonne. Now, this one is one I was really waiting for because I'm a big Walking Dead fan. I read the comics, watched the show. I've played the other Walking Dead games, and I just really enjoy these. These just you sit down for a few hours and you forget about everything, and then you just get immersed in the universe. And this one did a good job. Previously, Telltale had kind of disappointed me with the Game of Thrones title. I was not a big fan of that. I think they really botched it. But this one was really an enjoyable walk through the Walking Dead universe, and it was a time that I could get to see her story a little bit and play somebody else than the main characters in the main storyline. So it gave us something to play in the Walking Dead universe while we waited for the newly released Walking Dead Season 3 game. So yeah, it was a nice little transition and with a familiar character and a nice little short story. I enjoyed it for the most part. It was fairly decent. Risk of Rain. Now, this one was a title that was actually recommended to me by a friend. Now, for the originally I saw it and I just didn't see like why somebody would like to play this. I didn't really get it. But as I started playing it and kind of seeing, how I played and how different characters started getting unlocked, I realized that it was actually pretty darn fun and kind of exciting. So, yeah, I'd say that this is definitely one of the titles that I've enjoyed this year. I haven't played it like a crazy amount. I've played it a decent bit, and I enjoy the difficulty. I enjoy losing like a lot. That's fun, and getting better, and like finally getting through those overwhelming odds, and yeah, just seeing like the nice different worlds that they generate. It's pretty fun for a certain amount of hours. You can have a pretty darn good time. So, Sins of a Solar Empire. Now this one I played a lot like a year or two ago, and this would have been probably like top of my list if this was like a year or two ago. I play this a lot with friends. This is a title that it's takes a while to play, and I think that's like the only issue. It just takes a while to get through a game of it, but apart from that, it's really fun. It's really epic. You have so many screenshot-worthy moments. Um, yeah, I really enjoy it, and if you're somebody who likes 90s RTSs, this game manages to push that kind of style, that detailed style to the limit. Base building. You've got base building. You've got like elements of what types of units you want to build, and they've got so many of them, and the races are very distinct. They've got two sides to each race. You've got pirates raiding everybody. It's just a really good time, and they managed to handle like such a big scope very well for this title. So I highly recommend it if you like strategy and you have other people to play with. This game is about playing with other people, and that's what a lot of these games are to me, anyways. Is games that for the most part, I enjoy playing with other people. Obviously, not all of them, but yes. Great title. Day of Infamy. Now, this is one I streamed like once, I think. But this title is really great, and why it's really great is because it really draws you into the war, I guess, and it's very intense. I remember getting shelled for the first time. That was really shocking. It happened, and I was pretty surprised at how real it all felt. So I really enjoyed it, and it's got that realistic mode as well. So you don't know like how many bullets are left in your clip, so you're really afraid like that you're going to be running out of ammo when you're trying to shoot somebody. So it's very scary stuff. Your life is very valuable in the game. If you go down, you don't respawn for a while on a lot of modes. I play grit mode, so I play like a stronghold and grit. So grit's I believe the one where it's meant to be realistic, which I think is how the game was meant to be. So that's one thing that sets this game apart is that it's very realistic. You're not going to see how many bullets you have, all that stuff. And Stronghold mode is really fun because you play with a bunch of players against an overwhelming number of AIs who keep respawning, and you have to assault to take things. So you're always on the offensive, and you're always working together as a team, and that's just really fun. Um, you find a lot of the people here are really willing to work together to go far and to beat the missions. So I think this game's got a lot of potential. It's still in early access, but man, is it good. Really, really a fun time. The Forest. Now, this is one that I've played a lot, like very much. I have a server right now that's, growing. I'm trying to get through the story. They're really fleshing things out. They've been pushing out updates. And I don't really know like everything that's come out. I don't follow it super carefully because I've got a lot of stuff that I follow. But yeah, it's getting interesting. It is starting to get to that point where the story is really starting to progress and you're starting to find out more. But this is the kind of survival game that although it's not super hard to survive compared to some other games, it's hard enough that it's challenging. I mean, I've definitely died a lot. I guess once you learn how to play, you don't die as much. But yeah, it's really interesting to go through that forest, that world, and just find out what happened. You're kind of collecting the pieces. It's almost like you're in the Lost Island with these cannibals. You get to explore and really you put the pieces together and try to find out what happened. So I think it's a really fun game. And the graphics are beautiful, scary sometimes, and it's got a lot of mystery to it. And I think it's really successful for a title like this. This title just kind of came out of nowhere, to be honest. So Yeah, I enjoyed playing this a lot, and I've played this a lot throughout the last couple of years. Depth. Now this is one that, although I played a little bit less, I played this a decent amount. It's just really, really fun to play with friends. Some of you can be the shark, some of you can be the divers. You go down, you're afraid, you wait till like a shark comes in and bites you, or takes you out. It's just really exciting, really fun, and scary to play. This is a game you play for short sessions of like an hour or two. This title, I would say, doesn't have too much more development behind it, and is a little heavy on like the buy this skin, buy that skin stuff. So I wish they would release more stuff, for depth that would be a little bit more, expanding the game. I think they could do more with it, but for whatever reason, I don't think they really release anything else right now. I think they're just making money off of what is already a good game. So yeah, I mean, it's if you want to, get skins, it's great and all. But either way, the game's good. It's very fun to play with friends, and it's a good deal for the price. I've put in a good amount of hours into it. So yeah, great stuff, and I recommend it. Endless Legend. Okay, so this one's at number 8. You're probably wondering, oh wow, you only put this at 8? You stream this all the time. Well, I think this game's great, but it needs a couple it needs a little more. So Endless Legend, in my opinion, because I haven't even done a review for it, even though I've streamed it a bunch, is that it's a game that was made real well and fairly immersive, but it has a couple issues. The pacing's a bit slow. Uh, Definitely, the pacing's a bit slow, and they haven't put in default teams and default team vision, and there's a couple little immersive things they could really add in. So, I think this title is excellent if you've never played it, as long as you're willing to go a little slow, because it does take a while to play. But with the right speed settings, you can get through quite a bit. I think that the title's greatest strength is its immersion and like how different the races are. I would say that those are the greatest things. Um, so I've really enjoyed playing like many hours of this game. I think I would enjoy this game so much more if they just put in default teams and allied vision. This game would be a lot better because I like to play with others, and when I play with others, I like to see what they're doing so we can talk about it. I think that's literally half the fun is seeing other people do battles. And when your ally's doing a battle and you can't see it, you're just kind of sitting there waiting. So they're very aware of this issue. I like the company Amplitude. They have their checklist of things that they're aware about, like things that people have suggested. So I know that they're aware of all the things that I've like wanted out of this game. Now whether they're going to do them or not is a different story. Most of their DLC are pretty good. A couple of them could use a little bit more to them. Could have been done a little bit more thoroughly, and I think would have really helped the game. But apart from that, it's really an amazing try at a first game. I mean, wow. If this is like the first title you come up with, like how will the second be? I mean, wow. I'm really impressed. So I hope they keep putting out stuff for this title and just bring it up to par a little bit more. And if they manage to find a way to pace it a little quicker, this game would be dynamite right now. So, all right, next we have Civ 6. So Civ 6 is number 7. Yeah, you might have thought that this was going to be number 1. Civ 6 is it's very good. It's an improvement on 5. I like it quite a bit. It's very detailed. I just think that it needs to keep differentiating itself a little bit more from 5. I think in like one major way. It has a lot of minor ways that like if you've played them, you realize like okay, this is very different, you know. But I want something a little bit. I want that little special something that makes me glad that I've bought like the next title. And I'm not sure it's quite there yet. But I think right now the main thing with Civ 6 that's holding it back from being way higher on my list is that it has a couple outstanding issues. One being the same as Endless Legend, which I can't believe this. It doesn't, at least last time I checked, maybe the winter update included this. I don't think it did, but I'm not sure. It does not have like the Allied Vision and the default teams, which is this just blew my mind. I mean, I understand that like, you got to prioritize this or that, and you have like a development cycle, but man, like what is up with these big strategy games not having that? That is that is so confusing. This is such an important feature. I need to see what my ally's doing. This is part of the fun. I mean, what one of us always ends the turn before the other, so I just don't know why they haven't done that yet, and I hope that they do it soon. They take care of that. They take care of a couple more balancing things, um, reduce the unit spamming a little bit, clean up a couple things, and this game is going to be a hell of a lot better. Like this game has incredible potential. They just need to fix up some of this stuff and make it just a little bit different in a major way, and I think that we'll have an amazing title in our hands. It's already a great title, but it could be amazing. Rocket League. Now, yeah, this is weird. This is a both save. I've just had a lot of fun with this, and this is kind of where the recency thing comes in. I've been playing this a lot recently, and it's got a real high skill cap. It's very fun, very exciting. I used to play soccer a lot as a kid, so for me, this is something that I personally really enjoy. Um, and I think that yeah, I've just been playing it a lot because it's a game that has just been really fun and a really like great learning curve. Like I mean, you get completely crushed for a while, but once you get good at it, it feels amazing to score those goals. So I personally have a lot of fun playing it, just copious amounts of fun. And yeah, I'd recommend it to others who are willing to get crushed for a little bit till they learn how to play the game, because it's really rewarding once you get decent at it. Dungeon of the Endless. Now this is one title that I just absolutely love. And you know the crazy thing is I was listening to a podcast, an Amplitude podcast, and apparently they were actually having, drinks at their office one day and they just decided to start making this for fun. And this is what came out. It's a roguelite, which is basically similar to a roguelike but not as hardcore. And you it seems a little strange, but it's basically like a tower defense slash like how would I even call this? Yeah, tower defense slash roguelite. And you basically have to manage like how you what you build and where you build stuff, and then defend areas as you go through. It's very fun. It gets increasingly more like intense as you go through. It's very difficult. You die suddenly. But either way, it's a game that has had like some development into it. It's a great game. I think that if it had more development into it, it could be even better. It doesn't look like they're pursuing developing anything more for Dungeon of the Endless. At least that's my understanding. But maybe there'll be a second one. There's definitely potential there because this game is excellent. Yeah, it's just really, really well executed, really fun, not expensive. You can play with friends or you can play solo. Just wow. I was really impressed with this title, and I did not expect it. I just bought it like at a low price and not expecting too much. So Don't Starve Together. Now this one is one I've played a good amount of hours. I'm not incredibly hardcore, but I've played. I don't know if I've played 100, but I've played like somewhere kind of near that, and it's extremely unforgiving. This title. I think a lot of the trailers don't show that. And sometimes as we go through the patches in early alpha, the game gets harder or easier in ways. Recently, it's gotten a little bit more reasonable, so I'm really glad about that. I think that ultimately this game is very fun because you can do a lot with it, and trying your best to get through the different seasons is a real fun challenge. I personally have never gotten past spring, so um, yeah, I've still got a lot to learn. But in terms of playing with friends, it's great, and as long as everybody knows what they're doing, like you can probably get pretty far. So yeah, I'd say if there's a game you want to play with your friends, this is one of them because you can get ridiculous amounts of hours into this game and ridiculous amounts of fun. Number three, Shogun 2. Now this title is truly, truly amazing. Um, I just can't believe how much fun I'm having with this game. This is the best Total War game to date, in my opinion. And a lot of people feel that way. Now, it's divided into three titles, actually. There's Rise of the Samurai, there's Shogun 2, and then there is Fall of the Samurai. I personally really like Shogun 2 and Rise of the Samurai because they feel very Japanese, whereas Fall of the Samurai feels more about like the westernization, and it feels more about the cannons coming in and more like Napoleon Total War, that kind of stuff. So for me, that was not really my thing. I didn't find that to be very interesting, so I didn't care for it, but I hear a lot of people say that that's the best one. So I'm keeping that in the bag for now, and if I get tired of these two, I'll try it because I heard it's awesome. But for now, I've completed a couple campaigns of Shogun 2. I'm completing another campaign of Rise of the Samurai like these days with friends, and I'm gonna go back to Shogun 2 again. So these titles are amazing because they're so well balanced. The battles, the sieges are great because they don't take too long for the most part. The battles are very aggressive. The meta game is very aggressive, so you never get bored. And some of the other Total War titles, sometimes it can get a little. The city battles can get real sluggish, right? They go slowly, but in Shogun 2, they really they go real quick. They're real brutal. There's no mercy in this game. You conquer or be conquered. Defending is not a very easy thing to do in many cases. So I think that Shogun 2 is fantastic, and it is sets such a high standard for me in terms of Total War games that I really wonder sometimes if I'm ever going to see a game this good again from Creative Assembly. It really it really is that good. And I haven't even installed mods for it. I know that there are really good mods out there for it. I honestly feel like I don't even need them. This game is that good. I don't need mods. Who needs mods? This game is awesome. So, um, yeah, that's my opinion of Shogun 2, and I continue to play it. I continue to find it awesome, very satisfying, and the fact that it manages to make that War Escape engine, which is the newer engine, look good is amazing. Because I personally don't like that new engine that they've had running since I think it was Napoleon or Empire, since Empire Total War, I think. But this game manages to, not make that apparent that it's a terrible engine. So wow, just props to them, and hopefully one day they bring back that whatever made Shogun 2 so great. We'll see. I'll have to wait quite a few years though, I think, for it. Here's another picture, Shogun 2. Sorry for the low pixel quality there. Number 2, League of Legends. Now, a lot of people are probably wondering, what? This guy's a strategy gamer. He plays League. Yeah, I've been playing League of Legends for 5 years. Um, and I've followed it intensely. I followed the company's every move. I've followed the esports scene, and I've just, I've been very interested in the competitive aspect. I've been interested in like what they're gonna do with it. There are so many heroes. I have so many hours in this game. I would rather not know how many hours I have. Probably more than all the other titles combined, most likely. This game is just really fun. It's really easy to jump into. I have people that told me that I haven't played for years. They come back in and play it, and it's not like it lacks complexity. You can play it at a basic level, but if you know everything that's going on with all the champions, all the changes, there's a great amount of knowledge you can gather there, and that you can use to be better than others. So you can always jump in and play it and have fun, which is something that I can't always say for Dota 2. I mean, I'm not saying like Dota 2 is a bad game. I mean, I play it, I like it, and I like the complexity of it, but jumping in sometimes in there and just getting completely crushed is not that fun sometimes, because the game drags on so long. I mean, some games like Rocket League, you can get crushed and like the game's over in 5-10 minutes. It's not a big deal, but when you're getting crushed for an hour, it's a little bit less fun, for sure. So yeah, this game is incredibly fun. There's always new things. They're always balancing. Do they do a great job? Not always. And I don't agree with a lot of things the company does, but they are repeatedly kind of leading the way um, in a lot of ways. And I find that I'm glad to hop back in and play it every year, and play it like every week on most days, and just have a blast. So yeah, it's a great game. Oh, my main character, Vladimir. Last, Factorio. Now this game kind of came out of nowhere as well. And it hit number one on my list because, my gosh, is it fun. This game is so much fun, but be careful because this game will eat up hours of your day, like minutes. You think Civ does that? You think your favorite game does that? Wait till you play Factorio. Let me just tell you, wait until you play Factorio. This title is incredibly detailed. Um, Once you learn the basics, it's very accessible. Once you figure out like some of the basic things on how to do things. So the first hour or two is a little tough because you don't know what you're doing yet. But once you figure that out, you can have a blast. Now, of course, the title's in early access. It's currently $20, I believe. And man, it's definitely worth that. Like I wouldn't wait. Like if I were you and like I wanted to like find a game to play with my friends, I'd play Factorio. Um, because that's by far like the most fun you can have. You basically gather you it's a typical survival game, but it's more focused on building your factory more so than surviving. I mean, surviving is definitely a thing you need to pay attention to, but the main thing is building this factory and how do I build this? That I need to build A and B to build C, then I need to build A, B, and C to build D. So it's very fun to design and put things together and just see them work and just sit there and like marvel at like what you've created with the time and effort. And then you've built a 10-hour base and you know how everything works and you see it all come together to create something. There's something amazing about that I haven't gotten in any other game of this genre. I've played a lot of other games. I'm sure some of the people who do some like high level stuff on Minecraft maybe feel good like that too, but this allows you to, in a basic way, build something incredibly complicated. Like it allows the regular person to build something incredibly complicated. And I think that's what's amazing about it. A lot of the things that are, high reward, like that people do, for example, again in Minecraft with the coding and stuff like that, which is also in this game, by the way, tend to be a little bit less accessible and tend to not always be very intuitive. This is incredibly intuitive. You see where your materials are going. You see what needs what. It's very obvious. And it's challenging to put things together, but once you do, it's extremely satisfying. So this game is amazing. It combines, you know, logistics and design and resource management, things like that, and as well as survival, and it does so in a way that's very elegant, and it's only getting started. I hope they add more biomes, and I don't know where the game is going, in which direction exactly, but I'm really looking forward to what this game is going to be like in its final state because it is literally a full-fledged game right now. And for $20 it's a steal. I would say for $60 this game would still be worth it because that's how much fun you can have with it. Um, and yeah, they're still developing it. I don't know for how much longer. I don't know what they're going to add in. I don't know about any of those things. But all I know is that this game is fantastic, and anything more that they add to it, I'd be happy to play. I would say literally, if I were to criticize this game, I'd say like maybe make the aliens more interesting. Maybe make like the survival side a little bit more interesting. That's like the only thing I could really say. Yep, that's it. So let's go ahead and just check out the Factorio trailer together, and we'll call it a day. All right.
Imagine a remote and unexplored planet, full of life, richness, and natural resources. Imagine you accidentally crash with your spaceship right there, and your only possibility to survive is the use of your talent to create technology. So you start by mining resources manually. But this is a game about automation. Your mission in here is to design factories. That's why you create machines for doing the job, such as furnaces, mining drills, steam engines, inserters, pipes, transport belts, assembling machines, and many others. Make use of your creativity as an engineer because in Factorio, it's up to you how to set up your factory. Start with very basic setups. Extract coal for smelting ores and transform them into advanced products. In Factorio, you have to find the ways of getting electricity and design and manage your electric network. As soon as you have power, use it to feed advanced machines that craft for you. Automate your process, be efficient, and grow as an organic mechanism. Invent, develop your own ways, solve logistic problems, and research new technologies that help you even further. Use these technologies to expand to new territories. Find new sources of energy and control your production. But beware, you're not alone in this planet. Natives will try to recover what belongs to them, forcing you to focus the production into combat assets. At any time, you can join forces with other players and play collaborative in multiplayer. Once everything is under control and at an advanced stage of the game, you will become a good engineer. Then, your robots will repair any damage in your factory and build anything you need. You will design really complex railway transport systems. You will create logic machines with combinators. Even program the game of life if you like. And finally, launch rockets into space. Only then will you know what Factorio is about.
So that is Factorio. It's just a truly impressive game and a game that I recommend you guys all check out. I think that's about all I have for the end of the year. I have one more Civ video I've been meaning to release, and that's about it. That'll probably come out next year. You guys have a great one. Hopefully you enjoyed the games I've played in 2016, and find something that you enjoy on the Steam Winter Sale or whatever other sale you may be looking at. Have a great one.